Well, hello everybody out there in the YouTube and the Rumbles land. It's another week of live here at the DJ's Classic Garage because, well, why not? So today it is I, Dennis, joined by the Fluno, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about, I guess. Um, I mean, honestly, it's been a really it's a weird week, but definitely the big thing was, and we'll get to this later in the show, is all the Stellantis news that honestly, I don't care if if you just have old cars, whatnot. This will affect you because this game plan of theirs is going to be something that's going to be horrific. I mean, it's not good, and it's amazing. Fluno, it's just so amazing that in our entertainment world, they're shedding what they quoted as woke, whatever. It's just ideal politics, whatever that stuff. But that stuff, the virtual signaling still goes on in the automobile world. It hasn't gone away.
No.
It's truly amazing how we sit here and they aren't making products that we want. They're making products that they're be in good graces with the governments. Like BMW is basically, we did a story last week. They're basically taking in they're throwing away their entire legacy so they can be, have a good social credit score.
Absolutely.
It's depressing, actually. So, yeah. So what have you been up to?
Well, it's been hello everyone out there. It's again beautiful weather up here in Ocala. As you can tell, there's no hoodie on today. Actually, outstanding day. Spent a lot of time outside. This weekend was great. We a buddy of mine and we did the manual transmission flush on my Z3 along with the rear diff, and I want to thank Dennis, of course, for his input on the proper products to use on that. Running great. And then we also had to correct my bumper because some jerk months ago had given it a love tap and kind of popped it off its track. And a funny thing is fixing the bumper all up and getting it back lined up took longer than both the manual transmission flush and the differential flush. But hey, that's why aesthetics and work on the body work costs more a lot of times than mechanical work because
it takes twice as long,
38 screws later, but it's just impressive how they put that car together. And any car, even 30 years ago, you hope they're built as well today, but probably not. But it's just always amazing to see how the engineering goes into play and the design and all these minds that make it all work. So no damage at all. I mean, a little bit of paint scrap had happened, but no actual damage at all. It just was off the track and looks much better. So that was my great Saturday. And then Sunday, really just kind of enjoyed the day. Again, beautiful weather up here, so got to be outside.
Cool.
You?
Yeah,
Tell us about your weekend.
I posted on I posted in several places. I went to the meetup for MegaCon for a few of the channels I watch, to get away from car stuff. And that was really fun because I went to Universal City Walks. I will highly recommend, if you're in Florida, screw the Disney stuff. Go to Universal, especially for adults, man.
I agree.
City Walk is the place to go. The drive was nice. At one point, I was getting 26 miles to the gallon with the truck because I was doing 55 miles an hour. It's amazing what can happen when you have a turbo truck and don't use the turbos. I averaged like 18 with the, traffic and whatnot at 18, which I'm perfectly happy with. It's a 5,000 pound truck that can tow 12, I think almost 13,000 pounds. So yeah, it was nice. I had my heated seats on, keep my back nice, and I ate at Jack in the Box. The only Jack in the Box in the entire state of Florida. That was your goal.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That was your mecca to hit. Make sure you hit the Jack in the Box.
And I will tell you, everybody out there, the tacos is still friggin' the best. Even though now they're $1.79 for two. Honest to God, it's good. The place was packed too.
That was a good deal, actually.
Yeah, no kidding. So I guess without further ado, we'll start. I'm going to start with some first brand stuff, and this is what's the scary part about the first brand stuff at this point. you know what the scary thing about the First Brand stuff right now? There's not a lot of news coming out, and it's come to a trickle. Like there's nothing happening. Nothing's being sold. I did a look, Google First Brands news, right?
Hmm.
And just I don't have any filters. And this is me searching through it. And honest to God, it's Jeffrey's. Jeffrey's got, they're one of the people that got screwed. Prosecutors revealed details of multi-billion-dollar fraud at First Brands. So they're now starting the prosecution, just starting it. So Jeffrey's lost $10 million on exposure. And then, a lot of just stuff on Jeffrey's. We already know this happened. They did close the brake and spark plug businesses. They're already gone. So there's a lot of stuff that's just getting repeated and repeated and repeated that we're not getting anything new at this point, which is actually very terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And Annie, and of course, 2 Diesel Larry. This is the part where you should get worried. There's no movement happening at this point. There's no big stories coming out. Nothing's being bought. There's nothing happening. The only good thing, though, I'm going to show you this. And actually, remember we were talking about this last week. Why anybody in Washington isn't taking notice? Well, Senator Bernie Moreno actually took notice because it's happening in his state. I mean, this bomb is in his state. And he went on. I'm not going to go through the whole podcast, but he used to own 15 Mercedes-Benz dealerships. And he's actually fighting for the right to repair, which we have talked about on this program before,
right?
Which is the Repair Act, which would hopefully gain more traction. I doubt it because they don't know how to pass anything that's helpful to anybody.
Oh.
And the other part is he's talking about first the right to repair, and then First Brands, and now I think it's finally got their attention up there. But nothing official is coming out of Washington. He is just literally, I guess, trying to use leverage that he has being a senator from Ohio to see if it can actually do something. But I just don't. I mean, this isn't enough. I mean, it's now over 6 months. It's spinning the toilet like no one's business at this point. It is absolutely an absolute disaster, and nothing new is happening. And this is where we are. First Brands, from the news, there's just nothing. There's no news.
Yep.
There's nothing being done. At this point, there's no solutions that are being offered. None of the businesses are being sold. And all those people out there and I still see comments. Well, they made garbage products. Guys, this absolutely takes away from your supply. Talk to my friend with the Oldsmobile that finally found a second brake drum for his car. After a month, he has 2 brake drums. 2. That's all. He got 2 out of 4. He's able to buy 2. I hope the other 2 are not that bad. I don't remember them being that bad. It was just the fronts that were bad. But I mean, this is where we are. That is gone. Try to buy filters now. The price has gone up. It's gone up a lot. Spark plugs, they've gotten expensive. You can't just throw spark plugs away anymore. They're like $3-4 for cheap ones.
Well, it's funny you say that, Dennis, because when I was doing the bumpers, 30-year-old plastic snaps break, of course. So I went to AutoZone and got these universal ones that work perfect, the snap pop things that go in. And I was showing our buddy Dan, I said, look at these oil filter prices. And they were anywhere from like $12.99 to up like the Wicks, like $20. And he's like, oh, I said, that's all First Brands right there. That's all at least part of something going on where it's never, he's like, these should be like $5 a piece. And I said, no, they're not anymore. No. And I said, that's what's happening. He's like, holy cow. He was in utter shock. I said, well,
Yeah,
that's it. That is live right there. What's going on in the
yeah,
flesh.
yeah. And honestly, because we have a lack of supply, I mean, it is getting damn well harder to buy stuff, just regular stuff for your normal car. If it isn't something that still isn't being made for like OEM, like, something that's less than like 8 years old, 7 years old, you're going to start seeing problems, very, very big problems, because that is just the way it's going to work, because we have lost a massive part of our aftermarket, and I don't know, what else, how else, how many times I'm going to beat this drum, but
Yeah.
and I haven't been doing any videos on it, not because I don't want to. I'm not doing any videos because honestly, um, there's not much to actually talk about anymore. There's nothing new. I mean, I can't do a 10-minute video on basically, all right, yeah, they're now prosecuting. We already know they're going to prosecute. We already know what the charges are. Yeah, we already know what businesses are shut down. They haven't closed anything else. I mean, everything is still, I think, end of April is when they all officially shut down. And but we're going to get to that point where, I mean, it's bad enough now how bad the prices for products are. Because like I want to buy some paint to do my trailer. It is mind-numbingly expensive to buy paint for my trailer now. Like just simple enamel paint with a hardener. Um, I'm looking over. This used to be something I could probably do for like $100. I'm looking close to $200
Mm.
to paint it.
Mm.
I want to paint it HEMI orange just because, well, I want to see my trailer in a field. That's mine.
Sure.
But when you go and it's but when you now with the prices are high on other things, but now when you have what they were in business, it's now just become painful. And now with the price of oil skyrocketing, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not anywhere near historically though, and relatively, it's not the most expensive it's ever been.
No. No.
But it's not good considering we've had everything else happen along the way for the last like 8 years,
No.
10 years, where it's just been pumped up. Now, the funny thing is, and I see, I'm on Facebook, they have these channels that do, oh, you picked up hey, look, see, Sue picked up the Ace of Shades thing right back there. Yeah. But the price of electricity is going to go up, because I hate to tell the people that drive those appliances where the electricity comes from. It comes from either natural gas or coal. Unfortunately, they got rid of most of the coal plants. Coal is cheap, and we actually have it here. So it's natural gas. Well, we just lost, I think, 20% of the world's supply of natural gas is now bottled up in the Straits of Hormuz.
Mm-hmm.
They literally can't get it out, or this production has been damaged. So your natural gas plants are going to start going up. The price of your electricity is going to start going up. And the price to put electricity in your electric appliance is going
Mm-hmm.
to go up. So this is, and I've seen a lot of silliness at this point where people, it's like, oh, it's a good time now to buy an electric car. That's like saying I'm gonna the like like the price of the price of strawberries goes up to $5 because they're out of season, and so you'll never eat strawberries again. It's a stupid thing. That's
Yeah.
a long-term solution for a short-term problem. And I'm
Correct. I
very,
sent you that article too about that, about deals right now. Like,
yep.
well, how do you charge the appliance? I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
people don't. That's not magic.
No. It
Not
isn't magic.
sorcery.
It isn't magic, and it honestly is not. It's not. It's not smart in the long run because our grid is still garbage. It's still garbage. I mean, it hasn't been. There's nothing been done to it because the power companies don't want to spend any money on it. And I mean, I
Yeah.
don't blame them, I guess, but I just, if you look at it, you go, well, this isn't good. So, I mean, so there's kind of like, the whole the little rant on, the silliness I'm seeing, especially on Facebook with these appliance people, and I'm like, and advertisements. It's like, guys, it's over. That should be just like DEI is in workplaces. It should just end because it's not good for anybody. It's not good for the general public.
Yeah.
If we all drove electric cars, we wouldn't go anywhere because we wouldn't be able to charge them.
Right.
I mean, that's it.
Well, Dennis, just as a flashback history here, when I was briefly selling Chevrolets back in '08, which hard to believe was 18 years ago. And when we first experienced ever, of course, I just bought my wonderful GT Mustang, wonderful 8 cylinders. We in our lifetime had never seen like 425 a gallon, 435 a gallon.
Right.
Remember when it spiked up like that? And I remember at the same time where GM had that slew of hybrids, which good in theory, fine. But they had, of course, the Tahoe, the Suburban, the Malibu, everything had a hybrid. And the joke wasn't even the dealership, was that back then the hybrid average sticker, the price of a hybrid over a regular gasoline only was around $5,000 to $6,000 sticker price. And the joke was, even by my wonderful GSM back then, was like, look, you can buy a lot of gasoline for $6,000. Okay. So the thought process was, and of course, we were rushing in to look this and that, and you're only getting like, of course, hybrid technologies come along, but you were not getting like 30 plus miles per gallon for the make up this difference. And that was the joke was, well, it will come back down. We know this, but now with the electric, I know it's not apples to apples, but it's similar where go buy the hybrid and instead, well, save $6,000, maybe drive a little less. We'll get through this. But that's a lot of, even at 430 a gallon, $6,000's a lot of money for gasoline. Mm-hmm. And that's why I try to convince customers on is it's going to be okay. And you're not getting a big savings on this. And now, not trying to trash the product that I was trying to sell for the modern world. But if you notice, all those Tahoes and Suburbans, they didn't last long. They didn't because it wasn't worth the extra money.
No.
So it's very similar. It kind of rhymes with what's going on now with this, the article I sent you of now's the time to get electric. No, actually, it's not. In fact, it makes the hybrid thing look somewhat sane versus this insanity where the last thing was 10 grand off. Okay. Again, 10 grand is a lot of money for $4 gasoline.
Yeah, exactly. So, I just find it amazing because it's not, it's a cult thing. It's not a solution for the average person. The average person needs a $30,000 car. I mean, that's really literally where we are. And that almost doesn't exist. And that's kind of the problem. And we're going to go a little bit later. We're going to go a little heavy into Stellantis because they actually had the year end and they actually had their forward look. And this should disturb the hell out of everybody because it's just not great. But I actually have some good news I have a couple of good news stories though.
No, it's nice.
Yeah, actually I do because this one's actually really cool because there are some companies outside of Stellantis. It's because I see Tony Imperial. I know he likes the old stuff, man. Jamie Cotton got that stuff, man. Vintage green. Yeah. Vintage 76 Viper green. Yeah. So look at this. This company actually gives a crap. Toyota actually makes new parts for old cars. This is what they do.
Yeah.
They are making dashboards. They are making dashboards for the previous generation, the 1990s Supras. A very popular car.
Mm-hmm.
So since the inception of 2019, Toyota's GR Heritage Parts Project has reissued and reproduced 300 parts for 8 classic models. The 880 Supra is one of them. So they're going to do a bunch of parts for that, but they're also going to do dashboards. Dashboards are hard to come by, especially for a Japanese car. Now, American cars, like the old American cars, there are a place called Just Dash, and they make an absolute copy of the original, and they actually use the original frame. They use the same process, but to buy it for a Japanese car, not a thing. And so the Super panel has the original grain orientation. Toyota reissued the part because dashboards, especially older ones, crack, shrink, and split over time's exposure to sunlight. The new dashboard joins other A80 Super upgrades, including instrument cluster surround, a front bumper, headlights, control arms. It even built new heads and blocks for the EA86 Corolla and Sprinter Torino. Toyota said that the new 880 dashboards will be available this fall, and the automaker produced the 4th generation Supra from 93 to 2002, which is probably the best Supra ever made. Toyota is showing off the panel at this year's Automobile Council, which kicks off April 10th. But I mean, look at this thing. I mean, this thing looks absolutely phenomenal.
Yes.
I mean, that's for a right-hand drive, but this is what people in the United States are reporting. They want want this car.
Yeah.
They want this car. Because honest to God, this is a phenomenal car. And this is a modern collectible. There aren't a lot of cars that are modern collectibles. This is one of them, though. And it's sad you have to go outside of the United States really to find modern collectibles, things that aren't allegedly, they're not made to be collectibles originally, but because they are so special, they're well done, and there's plenty of parts available for them, they become, and this car's an absolute beast, they become something you want.
Yeah, no one's looking for a 95 Oldsmobile Achieva.
No. Even though Oldsmobile's gone, so it could be technically collectible.
No, right, but another almost there GM.
Well, I'll tell you something that actually this is gonna be a little bit, maybe this might get a little rise. I think that all those 90s Mustangs outside of like the Cobras, nobody wants those.
No.
The 90s ones, no one wants those except for the Cobra ones. The regular Mustang, it just looked cheap. Nothing about it looked great. It looked cheap.
It was quote unquote modern. I mean, back in the day, I thought it was a nice refresh, a modern kind of throwback.
Yeah.
I like the dual cowl interior, but when you see one now running around, age bad, and usually it's really bad, figuratively and literally. Like it's gone, it's been ridden hard and hung up wet.
So Sue asked this question because a lot of people don't know this. Can you drive right-hand cars in the U.S.? Yes, you can. But there's a caveat, because everything has to have a caveat. To get around federal law, the car needs to be 25 years old.
Right.
If it's 25 years old, it does not need to be federalized, they say. So you can leave it right-hand drive. You can leave all the cool stuff that other countries get that we don't, like headlight aimers. We don't get headlight aimers, or a rear fog lamp, a real rear fog lamp.
Right.
People do add them to cars here. It's quasi-legal, but they're over in Europe and Japan, they have rear fog lamps. And also, that's right. The U.S. Postal Service does have an exemption. Then they get specially made vehicles. But now they're getting those vehicles that are costing $400,000 a piece to make because the company doesn't know what they're doing.
And those right-hand drive Jeeps of yore are pretty much long gone. Most postal vehicles now are just because at one time everyone had their mailbox on the right-hand side of the road. So
right. Yeah, I just and the Supra was special when they were new. It's special now. When I see that Supra at any type of Cars and Coffee or a show or anything, I walk right over because they are they are. This car has such a great shape to it. The
Yeah.
cockpit is so. This is a comfortable. This is a comfortable car to sit in. Look how it is made for the driver. In an American one, it would be on this side facing like that, but this is made for the driver. You have just so much, just so well done, and their cloth interiors are not. They're not. They're not garbage. American cars gave cloth interiors a bad name
Yes.
because that's what happens. They always do that. They gave them a bad name. But these interiors are very nice. They're comfortable. They wear well. But this is just a phenomenal car, and I'm glad that Toyota is sitting there making the parts for this car because there is such a following on it, and that's a car company that actually saw a need and said we need to actually do this because there's a market. And unlike Stellantis, because Ford still does a great job for old cars. Ford is a very, very good company for old cars. You can still buy 302 blocks. You can buy 351 blocks. You can even buy, I think you can buy 429, 460s. I know you can buy 460s, which is just basically the bored out 429 because it's the same family. But you can buy all those parts from Ford, and General Motors is pretty good too, but Stellantis, they just don't care. I mean, BMW even has an entire heritage thing. Old BMWs are the easiest cars in the world to get parts for. Literally, you may pay sometimes, but damn it, the part's available. You can find it. This is Vintage 76. Those Supers go for big money on Bring a Trailer. Absolutely, they do. They're just absolutely they're just absolutely a phenomenal vehicle. That's why. And it's like, how do you not like something that is fun to drive? Because that is a driver's car. Completely, totally a driver's car.
And you know what's interesting is that in that same realm of that era, the last of the, especially Japanese sports car,
Right.
what was era of like the early to mid '90s before the SUV craze started pushing them out. You don't hear anything, even though they were popular at the time. I'm sorry, the 3000 GT, nothing.
Nope.
That last generation 300ZX, which I actually thought was a good looking car, very similar to this kind of style. Really don't hear much about that vehicle anymore either. So it's interesting how and they both had decent, I mean, the Z and the 3000 GT both had good engines, they were powerful, etc. Kind of in that same family of looks in a way, but yet, no, occasionally a 300ZX might pop up around here and there, but nothing like the Supra fan base and the prices that they're going for now.
No. I think that last that 90s 2000 300Z, I think it just suffered from kind of blandness. It was a bland car.
It was pretty
And
bland
I
and
think
very heavy.
I think that was the big problem with it. It was a bland car. So, I mean, because you're talking like the 2000. Well, I'll pull this up. See it like a
Yeah, like the 90. I
2000.
understand I had a 95, and
Okay.
but it was also very heavy. The price went through the roof, and it became more of a luxury tour versus an actual sports car at that point.
Yeah, I mean, because this is, I'll show an image. Here we go. Yeah, this is the typical what you see.
Yeah.
It's it's bland. I mean, honestly, compared to that Supra, this is a bland car. I mean, it is truly a bland car. And I can see why there's not a lot of collectible. I mean, and honestly, the engine is a very good engine.
Yeah.
Drivetrain's very good in this car, but it's bland. I mean, it really is a bland ass car. I mean, yeah, here we go, Vintage 76. The Supras and 300ZX started the twin turbo saga. Yeah, this is a twin turbo car, but
Right.
it doesn't. it just doesn't have any gravitas, as they say. It literally
Yeah.
sits there as, it's like, it
Which is
just,
ironic because at the time it was so modern looking, Isn't
yeah,
that funny how the Supra actually still looks very modern all these years later, where that modernity left very quickly.
yes, it did. It became it looks, I don't know, it just looks like a grocery getter almost. There's nothing, there's no, I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't have that whole thing that the Supra has. Well, this is whole two D's Larry, the Datsun 240Z. That's a different
Oh,
creature.
that's the classic.
That's a whole different. That's a different creature. I mean, those are giant money now, because they were basically they were basically, the first biodegradable cars. They were just biodegradable, and they disintegrated, but they had some of the best engines that were ever put in a car. That 2.4 liter inline six, because I had an inline six,
Yes.
absolutely could scream, and you could just
So did
tune the
that
hell out of
still.
it. I thought this was a V at this point.
I thought they kept the inline only a 3 liter, bumped up obviously by the 80s.
Mhm.
Now the other rare one is the 260. That was very short lived in between the 280 and the
Yes.
240. But those, that's
Yeah.
I don't know what the
I
right term is, but yeah, that's a hard find for
Oh,
sure.
the 260 is very hard to find. No, it says, yeah, it looks like a V6 to me.
Oh, okay. Then I guess they did change it up for this. But I know the
Yep.
inline was still around, I believe, in like the 80s. Still, like the
Yeah, and in
280 was an inline.
the previous generation,
Okay.
it was the previous generation, but they had the turbo V in this. Um, so that's what was ended up being in this engine. I mean, being in the engine in this car.
Right.
So yeah. Oh wow, look at this. See, had a chance to buy a black '90s 300ZX with a bad auto trans. Yeah, you could just yank the auto trans, put a real transmission in there, and then it's a good car. If that car was
But
cheap enough, that would work, because those transmissions, I mean, that drivetrain really isn't hard to find. It really isn't. I mean, there's plenty of these cars that get wrecked because people seem to have more money than talent. It's
yes.
always, you always see the cars that are too powerful for the people that can buy them. You see them in the boneyard. They're always there. It's like, yeah, oh, somebody to make a corner. Oops. So yeah, that's why you see a lot of Hellcats. You actually do see a lot of Hellcats on Copart, and you see a lot of the higher end Chargers and Challengers on there, because they just absolutely just get wrecked. Because once you're over 400 horsepower, that's a whole nother game there. That gets
Right.
scary fast. Speaking of scary, all right. So Fluno, what do you think about having an old car that you could actually drive every day?
I think it's outstanding. And actually, not to go off the rails here, my friend who's looking at buying a classic car, and I was going through my pros and cons of this and that. That's why I highly recommend at least a mid 60s for some very
Safety.
modern amenities, braking, plenty of acceleration, sans
Mhm.
safety features, whatever. But and we were talking like Ford Thunderbird, et cetera, because he has plenty of dough, right?
Right.
But yes, you can drive like my Continental, which is I always talk about,
Right.
still over here doing its thing. It's a
So,
very drivable car for a modern era.
well, hey, how about this? How about a 69 Mustang Boss 429 that's brand new?
Oh,
This is a brand new car. So Revology still is making old Fords. I think they make some General Motors stuff. Chrysler, I thought, or Stellantis, I thought was letting them to do Challengers, but I haven't seen anything. So if you want an original 69 429 Boss Mustang, you have to come up with some serious cash. And so it makes these cars trade in the mid six-figure range today. In short, it was rare. More than a few collectors hunting for them, and they aren't building it anymore. However, the last part is no longer entirely true. If you have the means to buy an original Boss 429, you also have some options, including a new built-in 2026 Boss 429. Ford doesn't offer it. Revology will happily sell you its take on the legendary Stang for a few hundred more horses and a chassis that can run laps around the originals. Look at this thing. We at Haggerty are no strangers to Revology's unique brands of retro modern Mustangs, and the Orlando. They're down here. Oh, I got to go check this place out.
That'd be fun.
Orlando-based company latest offering in line with what we come to expect: a modernized, thoughtfully engineered take on an iconic Ford pony car, starting at a $395,000.
Okay. Well, that was not what I was getting at when you were saying about how great it is to drive a $35,000 fully restored Thunderbird loaded. Yeah, that's that's
but
how
wait,
much does the original go?
Oh, the originals are like 400,000. A real
geez.
429 is expensive now. But this one you get a Coyote in it. That is has 710 horsepower because it has a Roush supercharger on it. This is a scary car. A Tremec T56. You could get a 10-speed automatic. I don't know why.
No, we don't want that.
Because what's the point? You see, Frank will take two. There you go. It's in his wheelhouse. So they basically did a ground up, and they copied it, but then they made it a little bit better. They went to a multi-link rear suspension on it. They used the 8.8 rear, which I have in my truck, which is indestructible. I mean, you got to do some stupid stuff to break this, and with a limited slip. The body is spot and seam welded, and all the modern heat cured adhesives. So it doesn't rattle or shake.
Like the original.
All the originals were terrible, especially the 429. It was so nose heavy, braking sucked. But look, has the modern magnums on it. Look at that.
Nice.
I think those are either 18s or 17s. So they took this car, they drove it around Malibu. That's what all this is. And they didn't really get on it, but they said they were able to go on rough roads and drive around, and it was fairly a nice looking car. Fairly good looking, good driving car. But I mean, you can either buy this or you can buy a Ferrari. I mean, seriously, that you're literally
True.
in the same breath here. And honestly, this car would get a bigger crowd. It's just because it's different. It's just absolutely. But it's so spot on. I mean, everything about this car is spot on. It's scary.
Yeah.
They copied it as perfect as you can copy it. And this is a really neat. I mean, honestly, the price is a little high, but I find this really neat at this point because, I think that, no, actually they fixed that. It meets a lot of the new federal regs. So they don't have the trunk is not the gas tank in this car. So that I believe has been changed because dear God, no. No. I believe that they had to do a lot of stuff to make it up to current federal. The only thing they could get away with though is not have to do the 5-mile-per-hour bumpers. Thank God.
In fact, Dennis, it probably, because it's so low production, it probably doesn't have to actually pass a lot of the crash test, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
Even Rolls Royces don't actually have to go through that because there are literally not that many that are made.
Yeah.
But the big question is, does it have heated seats? Does it have air conditioning? Does it have cruise control? That's all we need.
Yes. It has Harman Kardon audio system, smartphone connectivity, electric windows, keyless entry. Keyless entry on this car. I mean, everything looks. Look at the dash. The dash is beautiful in this car. Look at that.
Wow.
I mean, that looks just like the original, except better because it's
it's
from the 60s.
Right.
I don't like the steering wheel. The only
they could have done they could have done much. That's
I like the wheels.
Bargain basement. Yes.
So there you go. This is actually something really positive and really cool. I mean, this is I mean, honestly, if you told me, if I could buy this or I could buy a Ferrari, I think I'd buy this just because. It's like,
Sure.
look, look, I'm driving an old car every day. I think this actually makes more of a statement. And that's just in my psycho world, it makes more of a statement. It's kind of like, you know,
And here's the real travesty. We can make all the government regs, X, Y, Z, safety, blah, 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 blah. Make the cars look like this again. Seriously.
I know.
They can style so much now with composites, etc. And that's a whole other rabbit hole. But really, look how great that is.
It's a good looking car. I mean, it really actually is. This generation Mustang was a very good looking car. They still sold incredibly well. I know vintage 76, it's not up your alley, but I think that they're like some of the old Japanese specials. I think they're trying to do those, and I know BMW actually was doing. They were working on doing 2002s. I remember that, yeah, because some reason, because actually that car needed to be modernized. If you modernize that car, it wouldn't be bad. Well, it's just that when they built the 2002 originally, the original 2002, it was a 4-cylinder with a 4-speed in it, and it couldn't have air conditioning. Oof. I mean, it really wasn't. It wasn't a really great car for America, especially in the South, because it is hot and there's a lot of glass in it. But people have put my drivetrain from my BMW in it. They put the M20 in there and have put the 5-speed. Because it just ends up being so much better, and they retro air in the car.
Sure.
Yeah. So that was something kind of cool and fun that I saw, and I was very excited about it. That it was actually a good thing.
Do they make other replicas in that company?
Hold on, let me see. Because they were talking about doing like Challengers, the old Challengers. But I know they do Ford stuff. I'm letting their site load. Let's see what they got here. Models. Okay. Let's see what they got. Oh, okay. So basically, as I see here, okay. So basically, Revology right now, if you any type of Mustang you want, they'll build it for you.
Oh my gosh.
So look at that.
Wow.
A Shelby GT 500 KR. You can't afford that car. I mean, a new one, original one, no. GT 350, Shelby convertible GT 350. So I mean, I did a story a long time ago on them. They were talking to Stellantis, but I guess it just never happened.
Look at that. That's amazing.
Those are all brand new cars. Brand new.
That makes me tear up a little bit. That's nice.
Yep. So they're out there in
Orlando. Just get me a 6-cylinder convertible with the pony package. I'm good. Maybe I can get it for $100,000. Nice and simple. Just a nice Mustang with a 6.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Seriously, why not?
Get some good fuel economy because the car's light.
Oh, and that new modern 6 would be not like the original with the 3-speed.
No. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I mean, this is one of the cooler companies out there. And see, Ford actually, unlike Stellantis, Ford actually cares because they license this stuff. This is licensed.
That's right.
Ford does get a cut every time they build one.
That's what makes up for the 19 billion appliances.
Exactly. Tony Imperial. When I was selling Fords, many of the new Mustangs had terrible engine issues. There were 5 and 1 that we skipped time before they even sold. What years were this? What
80s.
Years are these? Probably
mid-80s, I guess. The SVO.
Yeah. Well, no, they had they were just building the new 5.0s. They were making the 5.0s actually a powerful engine because the 5.0 actually wasn't powerful till 84, 85.
Right.
I mean, it was really the 302 was really kind of a joke. Oh, 2016, 2017. Really interesting.
Oh, the 4-cylinder turbo, the modern versions.
Yeah, the
I
full.
forgot about those.
I wonder. So did they skip time? Was that a thing on the? Because usually those are pretty tough, unless
Yeah.
it was the 5 liters because they were having the problem with the cam phasers. That was always a thing on them. The cam phasers. They finally fixed it. Yep, the 5.0. Yeah, they had cam. I know they had cam phaser issues. But Ford, unlike Stellantis, actually fixed the problem. Unlike they did the HEMI, which they'd never fixed the problem because that HEMI still has the same problem the original HEMIs from 2008 have, where they'll get the HEMI tick if you don't drive them hard enough. So there's that. All right. So we went to the sublime. Now we're going to go to the absurd. This is absurd. I don't know if I should play the video. It's a short story, but I guess we got to do it. All 5 broke the chains. Oh, that definitely sounds like the cam phaser locked. It jammed. It's that damn. That's impressive. The brake chains. That is impressive. 15 miles each. Damn. But don't worry. General Motors said, "Hold my beer," and now they have 60,000 engines that blew up. So, all right. So, how is Stellantis appealing to the average buyer? Like you and me. Because SUVs, like trucks, Jeeps. That's a man brand, right? More than likely. Or women that like that toughness, but it's a masculine brand. So why don't we have the Jeep chief family officer? Why not? Sure, let's do this. Are you kidding me? Still, Jesus Christ. That is absolutely correct. They have nothing off, and they're showing right here. Stellantis is rolling out a sequel to its award-winning campaign. I never heard of this campaign. Did you hear of this campaign? Okay, I never heard of this campaign. No one ever told me about the chief family officer. I don't remember being told about the chief family officer. I don't go to car shows and go, man, do you remember that chief family officer thing? Man, that was great.
You were too interested in becoming a badasseter.
Yeah, actually, and they've done one event, the badasseters. Literally, it's I mean, what an embarrassment that has become. Oh well, maybe I'll see them at Mo Party. So she is now coming out for the 2026 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. It's comedian Eliza Schlesinger. She's Schlesinger. Oh, Schlesinger. Eliza Schlesinger. And then she calls herself a comedian, which we know there's no such thing.
No.
It's a female comedian. In the new campaign, The Real Deal or Ship, Schlesinger undertakes training at a Jeep dealership to get better know the 2026 Grand Wagoneer capabilities and customers, climbing into the driver's seat to take them through the test drives of the Grand Wagoneer that sometimes veer wildly off-road. Oh, dear God. This is cringe. This is cringe. We may have to watch this. If they can't try to hit me with a strike on this, I will fight it because this is a commercial. The effort that created in partnership with Chicago-based High Dive launches across the Jeep brand's social media channels, including YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Schlesinger previously starred in another long-form video, The Family SUV, pitching herself to help sell a new Grand Wagoneer as the best car to have sex in. Wow. Good.
That's
this is wholesome.
The original. Yeah.
It's so wholesome.
I thought it was a joke. When I first heard about that story,
Yes.
I thought it was satire. It's not.
No, this is real. This is cringe. Yeah. This is what I was talking about, how the wokeness hasn't left the car companies. It's still there, alive and well. Oh my God. God. It's one of the Jeep brand's most talked about social media campaigns. I never heard about this. Did anybody out there hear about this? Has anybody heard about this? I may have to do a video reviewing this thing because I've never heard of it. This is crazy. The spot cut through the noise using humor.
What they
Innuendo
call
and controlled step outside Jeep's brand traditional brand lane, which would be toward men. Given the overwhelming response, the award-winning reveal film bringing Eliza back Physiology's next chapter in retelling the new Grand Wagoneer story. Oh. Francois wouldn't rule out another Jeep spot for the comedian. I'm a big believer in consistency and marketing.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ. Francois, tell Marketing Dale, building on something has huge value. We accumulate value. He's using the buzzwords. We create value as we repeat something as successful as this campaign. I never heard of it.
You know, it's not value.
Literally, what?
$110,000. That's not value.
Yeah, for a Jeep. I'm so confused on this because I am on YouTube a lot. I'm on a lot. I'm on Facebook, and my Facebook is entirely car stuff. Yeah. I literally go on all these platforms. I never saw this. I interact with all the Stellantis brands. I never saw this. I don't know. All right, so let's see. Tell me if you can hear this. Oh, everybody out there, tell me if you can hear this. We're gonna play this. This is cringe.
I cannot hear it.
Oh, okay. Damn. Okay. It's cringe. It's literally cringe. It's cringe. Oh my God, is this cringe? Why is this so? Why must it be such cringe? Why must it be such cringe? I may have to do. It's 2 minutes. I may have to do a video on this. This is absolutely. I don't even understand this. I don't understand how this is marketing for a Jeep. It's an off-road vehicle. Like literally, it's supposedly a tough off-road vehicle. I don't understand it. I'm so lost here. I am. This is what Stellantis thinks of the American market. Yeah, let's just literally just roll her out there and yeah, we'll just we'll have a female comedian because
you know what's also lost out there? Millions of dollars.
Yes.
That's heck, I would have done this for the new top on the Z3 and some work on the Lincoln. I'll go out there and promote the Jeep for that. They
paid her like real money to do this, and actually, the more you look at her, she's really not that great. Trust me, she's really
it's
not
great. Funny. It's not,
and
funny.
And she's not funny.
Right.
Wow.
Truth is, I wouldn't want to see like some of my favorites, like whether it be Seinfeld or anybody else doing it either. It's like
Seinfeld actually could do things for Porsche. He actually loves Porsches. I don't see this. I don't see her. I don't see her rolling around in a Jeep Wrangler.
But just like this is what their marketing team came up with.
Yes.
This is what they're paid to do.
That's who that Francois is. He's actually the head of marketing for Stellantis North America.
Man, they need Don Draper.
Yeah. Don Draper needs to come back because this is terrible stuff. Oh dear Lord, I don't get it anymore. So continuing, so everybody, this is a follow along. This is a continuation on Stellantis and Chrysler and its impending doom at this point because, well, there's nowhere else for it to go except away. So Car Scoops had an interesting article about a week ago. I didn't get to it last week, but might as well get to it now. They pondered a question, and honestly, I've heard my friends say things, and I've thought of things. You're in charge of Chrysler. What's the one new model you greenlight? Because they have a minivan right now. They have a minivan. So they stopped the production of the 300 sedan 3 years ago now. It's 3 years now. And they have the minivan with the old interior with the new nose. And now Stellantis is aware of Chrysler's situation. I mean, all right. So let's honestly sit here and think about this for a second. They knew they were getting rid of the 300 in 2023. They run the company. So can somebody explain to me how this is a surprise that they don't have any product? I'm confused to like the 12th degree on this, that you really, like, they said they were going to have do an EV in 2025, but why wasn't that launched? You launched the charger failure. I mean, it wouldn't have been any worse. It would have probably, maybe if it was a luxury one, it might have sold better, I guess. So here's their ideas right now, and I really am kind of curious what everybody out there thinks, because the first thing they have is this SUV EV thing, with a fake price of $25,000, because we know that would never happen. That's for Chrysler, a cheap vehicle. A dealer in Texas believes the brand needs at least 3 new models. Absolutely. Mid-size SUV, third-row SUV, and a modern sedan. Now, this guy actually understands his market because he's a dealer in Texas. He kind of comprehends what his people want. But they won't listen to him, because why would they? Adrian Gonzalez, general manager of Payne Edinburgh Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Texas. I know people are going away from sedans, but we just saw an article that people want sedans. Yeah. Hell, Honda Civic sells like a hotcakes. So does the Honda Accord. Those are sedans. Yeah. I don't get. I mean, I don't understand. It's like BMW saying that coupes don't. What do you call that? Was it station wagons? Station wagons don't sell in America. Hatchbacks don't sell in America. They told me, the guy that was running BMW North America in 2006 said hatchbacks don't sell in North America. Okay. I know people are going away from sedans, but we need a sedan. I think Chrysler is the brand to do it. Even one went back as far back as to balk at the idea of badge engineering as a solution. We don't need to go just get a car, rebadge it, and call it a Chrysler. It needs to be a Chrysler. Randy Dye, a dealer in Florida, while he might... Oh, what happened? What the hell? What did I just do? Oh, there we go. So I clicked on Florida. He might hope that the strategy comes from one of the Stellantis favors wherever it can employ it. Frankly, it shares parts across various brands from all over the globe. Even when we focus solely on the U.S. market, it's easy to see how Chrysler could benefit. Leveraging the STLA platform. Now, that's the platform that the Charger is built on. Let's see. Here we go. Imperial needs to come back as a real competitor to Lexus and Mercedes. Yeah. You make the one sedan, you make it the Imperial, make it $110,000. Sure, absolutely. I mean, it'll have a market. Build a Newport.
But no cost cutting. It cannot be half-ass. No. That's the problem with American luxury, unfortunately. They get so close and they drop the ball.
Exactly. They're almost like that cowboy in the Super Bowl to get Leon Lett, get down to the 1 yard line and get the ball knocked out of your hand before you score a touchdown.
Exactly.
That's literally Stellantis in a nutshell. The STLA program is what the platform is what the Charger is built on. It's not a great platform. It's a platform, though. I mean, for what the Charger is, it's a terrible platform. But for a full-size car like an Imperial, sure. I mean, it's heavy. It'll ride super smooth because it's 5,000 pounds. But you can easily, have a luxury you can have luxury engine. You have the space. You can build any type of top on it you want. It doesn't have to look like a Charger. But you can really use that drivetrain and leverage it because there is a lot of space in that car. But and I see Newport. Yeah, I think they should have something called a Newport.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
that'd
a
be great.
sedan, but you can make an SUV a Newport. I'm okay
Sure,
with that. It's a
sure.
people carrier.
Times, you got to
Yeah,
make it for today. Just don't make it EV. See, it's going to happen. I'm going to beautiful Imperial sedan. It's going to be fully loaded, very nice. And someone's going to say, what's a great idea? Let's just only make electric.
yeah,
That's
but
my
they
prediction.
already did that and it already failed.
I know, but
And
but
I
they
and the thing is that that whole sickness, that woke sickness, and that's the only reason the only word I can use for it. It's still, especially in this company, it seeps through every pore of this company. They
it's a
can't get out of their
cultist
way.
compound.
They lost $26 billion last year on EVs. I would be running away from them at this point. I'd be figuring out how to make something else at this point. I just don't understand. Everybody wants torsion bars. I'm seeing torsion bar suspensions aren't going to. I wish they'd come back. They're not going to come back. It's a sad thing. It's sad, but it's not going to come back. Unfortunately, torsion bars though do have the best ride and they're the most adjustable front end you can have. But that's just that's me being very prejudiced. All right, so we have to do this. We have to do this. I'm a little nauseous having to do this, but we have to. We're gonna go over the new Charger RT. This is the lower powered, still over 400 horsepower car. That's cheaper allegedly. This is what's out. I was toying around the other day, and if you notice, every paint color is $700. Black is the only one that's free. Every other paint color is $700, except for orange, which they don't even call HEMI orange. They call it peel out. That's $800 for paint. That is
amazing.
Yeah, I mean it's so right off the bat, this is the car that starts at $50,000. Actually, I let's go back and change my model. Change model. Let me show you this. All right, so here we go. You have the really base one is 52,000, right? Plus shipping. That's $1,000 to ship this car. And then RT Plus, it's 57,000. Look at the nut though. Look, 72 months, $800. $800. $900. $900. The RT Plus is the same price as the Scat Pack. I don't understand this. I don't grasp this. I don't understand. I don't understand the marketing here. Why would you do that? Why would you make it the same price? I'm at a loss.
That makes no sense.
It makes no sense. So then they have the 4-door. The 4-door starts at, they don't have any RT. This is, I'm sorry, it's the RT 4-door, and this is the 2-door. So, I didn't want to do that. So this is the 4-door, but it's like the same price. That's not smart. And then a 4-door. Now the family, what you consider a family car, is this one. It's 57. Oh, this one is 62. These are family sedans. They're not sports cars. They're family sedans, and that's too much money. And then these are the electric appliances that no one wants. That they sold 7,000 of them last year. So, all right. So let's go take a look at the base one, the RT 4-door, the RT 4-door all-wheel drive, because the RTs are only in 4 doors. This is, oh, that's right. Okay, so when they released these cars, they were only going to do the 4-door for the RT. You can't get a lower horsepower 2-door. So you can't get the car with the looks and have a little bit more of a reasonable engine. You have to get the hot engine to get a 2-door. That's stupid. So the RT 4 only comes in 4-door. Once again, the paints are if you don't want anything but black, you're up. And nobody, I don't like black cars.
No.
I would want an orange car. So that's $800 right there. And then the wheels, whatever. Don't care. Interior, leatherette, which means vinyl. I learned that from BMW. That means vinyl.
That's right. That's
and
right.
Cloth. So we're at $58,000. That's the cheap one. $53,000. We have a vinyl interior. There is no option for leather in this car. No matter what trim you get, you do not get leather. Now, you have the black top package, which I don't understand why. Then you have, to get a universal garage door opener, you need to get the driver's convenience package, because you can't, and that is $1,500 on top of it. So we'll add that, because I'd like to be able to my garage car. My garage, when I'm in my car. So this is the cheapest Charger you can buy. $56,000 without shipping, because shipping is like $1,000. Your nut is $847 a month to own it. Your lease is still $533
to rent it.
To rent it for 36 months. Oh, what did I do?
Holy cow!
Oh, here it is. So here is the leasing on how they're doing it. It's $2,000 of destination charges. I'm sorry. There's $2,000 of destination charges. And so this leasing, that's what, 5,000 miles on the car. Oh, nobody drives that low. So
a year?
Yeah.
Oh.
So 12,000 miles brings it up to almost $600 a month for 36 months. And they have military and first responder bonus cash, and that's it. So there you go. Your cheapest way you can get in one of these cars is to borrow it for $600 a month. And you have a car with a vinyl interior. Literally, you have a vinyl interior in this car. I'm beside myself at this point.
I could probably lease an E-Class for around that same price, maybe a little more. But guess what? I'd rather have.
Well, yeah, we all would rather have that car.
But that's how insane this is.
Well, the whole thing is nutty, and that. All right, here's the Scat Pack. This is the one that everybody's talking about, the fast one, whatever. All right, so we'll go down. Its interior. You can get leatherette. Now you can get leather performance seats. All right. Wow, you can actually get leather in this car. But what did that just cost me? So they got that. Here's this. So you got $60,000 for this car. $900 a month. And I didn't add a package to it, because I just added a color, and I got leather interior. So the leather, for some reason, is the same price as vinyl. You get a 12-way power adjustable seat. Oh wow, you actually get heated front seats, heated second row, lumbar adjustments, and ventilated front seats. Wow. So there you go. But I look at this. The more I look at this interior on this car, the more I hate it. I actually really hate the interior of this car. The dash is very discombobulated. Like it's.
I love how they call the back seat second row. Like, this is not a chopped SUV.
Yeah.
Second row.
But for what it is, this is a lot of money for what this is.
Yeah.
I mean, and this engine, I'm not very sold on this. I did a video. It isn't all that. They couldn't get the car below 11 in a quarter, and that's just not great. It is the 4-door. How the hell did I got on the 4-door? So that's the 4-door. That's the cheaper of the two.
Jeez.
This website's really, really bad. So here is, I guess that was this one here. So here's the actual 2-door Scat Pack. So on the 2-door, you get the leather, and then boom, boom, boom. Dip. It's because you have to get paint, because you have to have paint on it. So there you go. And so there we are, a $60,000 car. Yep, $60,000. And right now they're taking $5,000 off.
Oh,
Horatius 763. It looks like a go-kart steering wheel. Yeah, it does. I mean, this interior is actually kind of comical. I'm probably gonna go drive one. I don't know if I'll be able to video it because, good old Lord, I God knows they're doing such a propaganda with this car. I don't think that they'd actually like anybody to actually
demean it.
yeah, do it, to actually bang on this car in person. But I don't. I hate this interior. I really do hate this interior. It literally looks like a video game. The 90s are calling. They want their twin turbo engines back. Those engines were better. Do you realize that Supra, that Supra we showed, when you modify that engine, it will absolutely kick this thing's ass up and down the street. I mean, it wouldn't even be a contest because those cars can run 9. I've seen it. Those Supras could run a 9. They're fast and they're indestructible. Frank, so Dennis, are you saying Stellantis is going to pay me $60K to drive the therm car? No, you have to actually pay them. I know that's the insane part of the entire conversation, is that Stellantis wants you to pay for this. And they're marketing. This is one of 2 products that they have at Dodge. This is it. They have 2 products, and this is one of them. And yeah, I'm just like, as they say, gobsmacked. I saw that in the comments. I've seen a video. That's the only word to describe. I'm gobsmacked. I can't understand how this is a $60,000 car. It doesn't look like one. The Buick. You mean the Grand National? Oh God, Grand Nationals. They also can run into the 9s. I mean, General Motors. See, Buick made it fast, and it was a little faster than a Corvette, but they didn't go crazy because they knew they really would get in trouble. But that engine, the potential on that engine is psychotic. That 3800 with the turbo on it it's scary. I mean, that is an absolutely terrifyingly fast car. So CMC. Hey, long time no see. Mopar guy from Birdplay. Sally can see the end of Dodge. So can I. That's why I talk about this stuff, because this is last year was the worst sales year ever for Dodge. Ever. I mean, definitely post-war, the worst sales year ever. I mean, in the late 70s, they did better. Seriously, they only sold 100,000 vehicles last year. And 57,000 of those were SUVs. Seriously, I mean, and then they sold 7,000. Actually, no, most of them were oh my God, what's the SUV? I can't think of it. It's an antique now. Durango. Most of them were Durangos. I'm sorry, they sold like 80,000. 7,000 Charger appliances, 5,000 previous generation Chargers and Challengers, and then some Hornets sprinkled in there. Yeah, just so bad. So bad. So yeah, this car is it's not impressive, especially for the money, because I just did a video showing how it couldn't go fast, and I pulled it from last week. And I mean, they tuned it and it ran 1185, which really isn't that fast. In this day and age, just getting under 12 is not fast anymore. That really isn't. I mean, Mustang GTs just with a tune are running faster than that. And when you supercharge them, oh my God, they're running like 10. Frightening 10. Oh my God, Tony Imperial. So he actually saw a Hornet. I've seen 12, but I drive a lot. I drive a lot around Florida. I've seen 12. I think Fluno has seen a couple.
It's like 4. And this Sunday, I meant to say this in the beginning. This Sunday, coming back from lunch, and I was like seeing Bigfoot or an alien. I couldn't get my phone out quick enough. I saw an appliance. Like literally, it was in a turn lane. It was in that old school, that good looking dark green. And I'm like, I was with my buddy. I'm like, I didn't even say the name, but I said there's an appliance, and it was like not capturing the Bigfoot in enough time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my first appliance visual on the road itself.
Yeah, I have yet to see I've seen one charger appliance since they came out over a year ago. I have not seen any gas chargers at all on the street.
No.
And I drove 300 miles this weekend through Florida. I mean, I was in a lot of traffic. I saw nothing. I was in Orlando. I saw nothing.
What? Heck, Dennis, like I was joking with you when I sent you after our last week on Thursday of these amazing anomalies. I've now, within 1 week, seen, ready for this?
Yes.
5 or 6 darts on the road.
Yes.
Okay. So think about that for a second. Those things, few were in good shape, a couple not so much. And I'm like, wow. But yet these brand new hot cars are just not there. Not there.
Yeah. I mean, they're not selling, and like I said, they're throwing $5,000 on the hood of these new chargers. That's a bad sign when you're throwing money on the hood of a brand new car.
Yeah.
That means there's no demand. There's literally no demand for that car. And honestly, there aren't enough out there to actually see how bad that Huracan is in that car. The Huracan had a lot of problems in the Wagoneer. It has a lot of problems in the trucks, and those have a lot more space to breathe. That's that's packed tight in this car, that twin turbo. So, yeah. Oh wow, I love it. A CMC. I own 3 Hornets. One is an SC 360 Hornet. When I see the name on a blender, I almost barfed. Yeah. How do you think I feel seeing 4-door chargers? They're not real chargers. I don't an electric. They're definitely not a charger. Ugh. Makes me sick. So, our favorite CEO, Anthony Filosa, presented to Stellantis their annual report, basically their look ahead for next year and their new industrial plan, as they call it. And look at this. I like that. A 65 Rambler American 440 convertible with the Typhoon 232 in it. Yeah, LB Bruins. He has some cool stuff. It's all cool, man. All right, so our favorite CEO, Paisan, Stellantis CEO to present most eagerly awaited industrial plan in its history. Now, remember, the company's only 5 years old, so this is a lot of hyperbolic talk here. You'd like to have a Marlin? Good luck finding one. They're hard to find.
That'd be kind of cool.
They're cool, but man, they're hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
So May 21st, 2026 can mark a major turning point in the history of Stellantis. On that day, Antonio Filosa is due to unveil an eagerly awaited new industrial plan. So we have to wait 2 months now till this plan comes out. But he does outline kind of a lot of it here. And with good reason, the group is going through a period of profound transition following the end of Carlos Tavares' era, the worst CEO ever in history. The former CEO was fired at the end of 2024 and succeeded in spring 2025 by Filosa in a particularly complex context. A few weeks ago, Stellantis announced more than a 22 billion euro, a bunch of charges to clean up their books and get rid of their electric appliance problem, kind of, sort of. In other words, the Dare Forward 2030 plan is already a thing of the past. Maybe. The group needs to start afresh, though I still hear Dare Forward 2030, and it's still on their website. Dare Forward 2030 is to get rid of gas cars and have just electric appliances.
Okay.
So, see, when he was Tavares, 100% electric, but then market reality proved more nuanced than expected. No, the market went, we don't want it. That's a pretty clear, we don't want it. It's not happening. We don't want it. So between 2026 and 2032, the strategy seems clear. Multi-energy hybrids should play a central role, as should electrics. It's like they don't learn a lesson. It's almost like they don't learn a lesson. You just took a $26 billion hit because the markets don't want it. 2 years from now, they're still not going to want it. I don't understand this thought process. This is what I'm talking about, though. That it's literally like in entertainment where they just put out the same garbage that no one wants, the same horrible movie that no one sees, but they just keep doing it and they keep losing money at it. And Stellantis does the same thing over and over again. But they're saying you have a more pragmatic approach. I have no idea what that means. I don't know how you have a more pragmatic approach with forcing electric cars on people. So this is what they've done so far. They have they were making they had a battery partnership with Samsung. So then instead it's going to be wall storage batteries, and they're going to get rid of the other battery projects in Europe. The ACC Gigafactory project in Timorli in Italy and Kaiserslautern in Germany are abandoned. Oh, that's gonna go over well with those governments. On the other hand, the ACC plant in northern France continues to make MMC batteries, but according to several sources, production yields are still far from target. So even on their whole thing about doing electrics, they can't even make the product to supply the electrics because the battery plant isn't there. It's truly amazing. For the future, Stellantis is intent on relying much more heavily on its joint venture with CATL in Spain. The ambitious goal is to produce 1 million batteries a year, which I can't see that happening. With all the limiting of supplies, the rare earth issues, how hard it is to get lithium, how are you going to make 1 million batteries a year at this one plant? I mean, there isn't much demand for it. At this point, steam makes more sense. No kidding.
Yeah,
yeah, we need a Stanley steamer at this point.
Hey, still the most powerful driving force out there when you think about it in many ways. I mean,
it didn't cost an arm and a leg. Oh, that's terrible. I think
a lot of this, Dennis, just want to interject. I think a lot of this, I could just be my theory. I don't think anybody actually, and again, I could be way off. I don't think they even believe their own hyperbole. I think they're saying all this to keep some dream alive or investors going or something of that nature, because it's proven that it's not working. 1 million, and just throw a number out there, 1 million batteries a year. Why don't we start with like 50,000? I mean, just say something. I mean, 1 million batteries, like I said, the hyperbole is just absolutely, it doesn't make any sense. And by 2030, that's only 4 years away. Heck, they can't even come up with like new products in general. So it doesn't make any sense with their verbiage here.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Now, I read this, and that's why I came up. No V8s for you, because I'm reading this, and this is not a vision of a company coming out with products for all people. This isn't a company going, we have a need in North America that we need to do because that's still the most important market in the world, especially America is the most important market in all the world, and they don't have anything here, and what they have here isn't doing well, and so it makes no or little sense. And you're right about they're trying to ramp up to these giant numbers. There's no demand. I mean, and as to why, I think it has a lot to do with BlackRock and these other companies that put these social credit scores, because that's literally what they're doing, and that's what happened in entertainment industry. Same thing. That's why you saw those garbage movies that came out, garbage TV shows like Starfleet Academy, the absolute trash. It's because of those groups that invest in these companies, and they have this social credit score, Um, and it doesn't make any sense at all. In a free economy where people have choice and people have needs that need to be met, because that's part of capitalism, is that you sold something that met a need.
Right.
Literally, you met someone's need and you sold it. That's the way people become successful. And like the guy that created the Bic pen, people didn't realize, oh my God, I actually can write now and not make a mess. It's a whole,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just but this is not, none of this is telling, I'm going to make a family sedan for America. I'm going to make a simple truck for America. I'm not going to make, I'm going to make a simple Jeep for America. No, I'm going to make a nice luxury car for Chrysler. No, none of this is here. And we're not going to, the carbon credit scam, but that's also part of BlackRock.
Right.
And this is why I always say this is the worst time to be a car guy. New or old, it's literally the worst time. There is no time in history where it's been worse to be a car guy, because I can't afford any of the new stuff, and to try to fix the old stuff's almost impossible. Your carbon footprint. Yeah. You can watch the interview with Fink where he goes on how people have to be forced to accept it all. He backed down. Yeah. Well, when the tide turned, he realized he had to shut up. Fink's a really evil human being, but he's behind all this type of stuff. Those companies are behind this. And that's why we're getting this stuff rammed, especially Stellantis being as a European company. They're going to be much worse than Ford. Ford's bad, and General Motors is bad. But it's the Japanese companies, the ones that are smart, like Toyota, aren't bad, because they realize no. And the Korean companies are like, yeah, no, we're not doing that stupidity. They like making money.
Yeah, they might have a blend of things going on, but they're not getting rid of.
Yeah, they realize their little turbocharged sedan car. They sell lots of them, and this, what is that? The Sonata.
Well, yeah. Well, they have the N-Line Elantra, and you have
the Elantra
naturally aspirated. Yeah, and you have Elantra naturally, and of course, naturally aspirated. But it's funny you just say this, because I think they've already discontinued, since the restyle, like my body style. I think they may have already canceled the Kona hybrid plug-in. I'm sorry, not the Kona plug-in hybrid, I guess is what they call it. There's already a couple models they've stopped because they weren't buying. Even though my car was originally designed on an EV platform, which actually is not bad because they made it very space efficient, but no one's buying the electric version.
No.
So it kind of was a win-win for me, because I got a better engineered or ergonomic interior, but no one has been buying that, what it was meant to come out with. But again, unlike the Buzz, like I said last week, at least they offered 3 or 4 different styles, and guess what's played out? The gasoline.
Correct. So
easy.
Yeah. So despite slowdown in certain projects, Stellantis is not giving up on electric. Literally, this entire article keeps going back to this.
I know.
They keep going back to electric. That's why in May, I don't think we're going to get anything that's going to be great. And to be fair, that Sonata probably was dirt cheap, though. It probably was a dirt cheap car. So
11, yeah.
Yeah, that was probably a dirt cheap car. So I wouldn't complain too much about it. It's a dirt cheap car. Let's see. The electric DCT gearbox we use in hybridized many of the group's engines. Euro 7 compatible Firefly engine, electrified thanks to the transmission. So they're going to make it a hybrid through the transmission like Ford does on the F-150. The Firefly engine comes the benchmark group's B and C segment models, which are smaller and real small and small. Hungarian plant currently produces EB12 and EP6 engines, which produce production of EB2, and the Firefly replaces several models. And on the other hand, the EP6 could continue its career, particularly after its evolution in the United States, with a hybrid HEV system, developing 210 horsepower. Okay. I don't know what those engines are. The 3-liter V6. The future is clearly assured. The engine will continue its career in coming years. Not only is the Alfa Romeo Maserati, it should be equipped future Quadrifoglio versions in the Milanese Marche, which is not doing well. The remaining mainstay in the Maserati range. The big known is the level of electrification, which I think they already canceled their electrified car because nobody wanted it. So that's the Italian cars. 2-liter GME petrol engines. Don't know anything about that. So 4-cylinder could get hybridization. Nothing clear on that. Diesel engines. Yay. Their diesel engines are pretty good. The price plant 350 jobs cut 2025. New Euro 7 compatible diesel engines with hybrids. Oh, wow. 2.2 commercial, 1.6 for passenger car aim development would maintain competitiveness in groups commercial vehicles in Europe. Yeah, trust me, I've never owned an Italian car. Actually, I was on Facebook and they had choice of Italian cars, and they said, which one would you have? None, because I actually want to get to the festival. All right. In the United States, the HEMI V8 makes a comeback. So see, now if you notice, there was no talk of any development of any type of bigger engines. Everything's tiny. Strategy very different across the Atlantic. Stellantis has already introduced the HEMI V8, slightly hybridized, stupid word, which is a really horrible. That's the worst. That's actually the worst HEMI. They plan to triple production with 100,000 units by 2026. The United States will continue using 2-liter, 3-liter, and of course the HEMI. So literally no new development of any engines for United States. You saw all that stuff happening in Europe. Look what they did. They did nothing. There's no new V8 being made. There's no new V6 being made. There's no new 4-cylinder being made. Everything is just the status quo. There's no development. General Motors is coming out with 2 V8s this year. 2 of them. One in the trucks, one for the Corvette. They're getting new engines. And they literally are just going to keep running out the 20-year-old engine now. The HEMI is now 20 years old. This is a very old engine. Actually, it's based on the 273, which was developed in 1964. So it is a 50, what is that, 52 years ago? 62 years ago. Jesus Christ. Actually, CMC, I saw they came out with a 392 Durango. I don't know how the hell that got made, but they came out with one.
Yeah, I saw an article on that as well when I sent you all my nonsense. I read them. I don't know why. It's amazing how my algorithm, I guess, has changed for interesting car stuff. Oh, but Dennis. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
So Tony Imperial, I think I brought this point up before, though, but the Hemis compared to the Coyotes. The Gen 3 came out in 03. They should have been working on Gen 4 by 08, yes, but remember they had problems because Mercedes wanted out at that point. And then Fix It Again Tony ended up getting it for a song in 2011 because Cerebrus was incompetent. But the thing is, the Coyote, since the HEMI has come out, the Coyote has had 4 versions now. I think we're on the 4th version of the Coyote. At least the 3rd. And, we're at the point where this HEMI is an antique. They've done some minor stuff to it, but nothing major. I mean, really nothing major. So, I mean, that engine is not that great. It's cool and all, but it's not great. And honestly, they really need a modern engine at this point, because I know people, and the same person that has a business that uses big trucks, right? Do you think he's buying a Huracan or an antique HEMI for his business? I don't think so.
No. And the patriarch of the family would never allow that.
No, he would never allow a hybrid. Never allow a hybrid car.
As you were going through this article, I'm like, where's the American section? And of course, it's at the end. I was going to throw out, this article just proves it's Eurocentric, and that's fine, okay, good for them. But it's obvious that we are, the forgotten person in the attic or whatever that statement is, because they don't care. It's as simple as that. They're not concerned. They got all the stuff going on in Europe, and we just happen to be the Chrysler side just happens to be like a sidebar that they no longer worry about. Did you get attacked by the cats?
No, no, no.
Oh.
20 Cent Motors just killed me. Oh my God. I went trans and never looked back. Transverse torsion bar.
Like,
Oh, like the F bodies. Okay. That's some Chrysler humor there. We got Chrysler humor.
yeah, they're not concerned. They're
No,
just
no, no
not
concern.
concerned.
No, they aren't concerned at all. I mean, and this is the part about about this that really is disturbing is North America still does not mean anything to them. And I saw
Yeah,
nothing there. I saw
right.
nothing there for Jeep. I saw nothing there for Ram. There was no diesel.
Nope.
I didn't see anything about a heavy duty diesel being built. Though I think Cummins is coming out with a newer one, but I mean, but nothing. There's nothing in this forward look, and this is him setting up his whole thing for his release in May, and this is not great. So all right, so here they have their platforms, the CMP, which is I guess a small platform to 2032. The STLA small, which is basically it's a modular architecture that they have. It 100% electric. Once again, look at this new
Yeah.
platform, all electric. No, nothing else, just electric. It's logical for small cars. No, it isn't. How is that a logical thing for a small car? On what planet is that logical? On a small
No.
car, if you put a diesel in it, you put a small diesel in it, you'll get 60 miles to the gallon.
Right.
I mean, really, I don't even understand that. I'm really kind of confused on, but this is the mindset, and I think that people need to understand what they're dealing with Stellantis. They don't care about if you're an American customer, they don't care about you. They really don't. They really could care less about what you want. And the medium platform continues to spread. The Peugeot, yeah, uses such great cars as a Peugeot. The Jeep Compass, another winner. The
Yeah.
DS9 Nate, I guess I saw one of those in Sicily, and they're bringing back the Lancia.
Oh.
Why? Jesus. The Giorgio platform. So this is going to be for Alfa Romeo. They went away from it. They're coming back to it because the STLA doesn't work. The STLA large platform used in Europe could models such as Jeep Wagoneer S and Charger be marketed on this basis. See, that's the other thing. The Charger has the same chassis as the Jeep Wagoneer. So just think about that for a second. Just really, you're buying a Jeep that looks like a Charger.
Oh.
It's literally the same. It's literally the same vehicle. It literally is the same vehicle. It is so bad.
Dennis, real quick, is the actual name of his May announcement called the Forward Look? Seriously?
No, that was something. No, that's something else. It's called.
You happen to say Forward Look, and I'm like, well, that's Virgil Exner, 1957.
Yeah, that was extra. No. It was
I was hoping.
Dare.
I was hoping.
Dare Forward
What is
was
it?
the old. Dare Forward was the old plan. That's the
Oh,
old
geez.
plan. That was horrible. It was really stupid. No, they're gonna have. He's gonna. Their new. They don't even have a name for it, but May 21st, we're gonna find out what he's gonna do. But so far, I'm not seeing anything here that's making me go, wow, this company is really gonna really help me, and it's gonna make some cars I actually care about. So there, see, Stellantis wants to go with a Chinese company. Yeah, because those partnerships always work out so well. Let's see. You have Europe with its horrible regulations that are killing their industry, and the United States we actually like to have I don't know, cars and to get around. Stellantis electric cars are not strategic priority for Stellantis in the USA. Yeah. Hybrids while waiting for affordable electrics. Once again, it goes back to the electrics. It never goes away. It never leaves. It always is there. So a mix of hybrid and electric vehicles. I don't see just plain gas. I see hybrid and electric.
I'm telling you, this is programming. They're getting a check from not being all tinfoil. They're obviously getting a check from these investors who believe in a pro forma that is completely fudged. Okay. And I don't know what to say, because it's like, right, we have to keep going back to the same stuff shoved down our throat.
That's pretty much what this is. So this company is just, I mean, this is literally the worst company that could be owning Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. Literally, I can't think of a worse company to own them at this point, because I have little faith that Chrysler's getting a vehicle now, especially after this. It's so bad. Let's see. Just remember, back in the mid-'60s all the way through the mid-'70s, Chrysler cars with the torsion bars rode and handled very well. The Ford-built cars handled because it's the springs were terrible in those cars, and they ended up losing engine bay compartments because the shock towers were so high up. Terrible car, actually. And they did wallow. I mean, Dodges didn't wallow. Let's see. Yeah, people don't really know that the Imperial is a body on frame until 67. They use a lot of parts from the 57 through. Yeah, that's just Chrysler Corporation the way they were. Yeah, it was body on frame. Incredible car in its own line. To that at that time. Wasn't a Chrysler. Loved AMC. Peugeot and Renault killed them, really. Well, the thing is, I think Renault actually had a plan, but didn't have the money. Because the Chrysler cab forward cars, the LHs, were Renaults. Those were going to be the product that they were coming out with, like in 88, 89. They were going to come out with those cars. I think they would have actually saved the company. Lee Iacocca squashed those cars for 3 years because he didn't want anything to get in the way of his K cars. Because he DeSoto. Yeah, Imperial took over DeSoto plant after the 58 model year because DeSoto went away.
61.
Yep. Ford had that coilover design. It was hard, not as good as the torsion bar. Really did. I mean, Ford actually, when McPherson struts, when they got set up the Fox body and they put the struts up front, that changed the cars completely. That front strut setup made those cars so much better. But they had the front springs on them, they were horrible. And a spring it's not. A torsion bar is more progressive in the way that it dampens. A spring kind of it hits a shelf. Like it has so much compression, then it's hard. So it's like a whole. There's no in between. It's either going to be really, really tough or really, really soft.
The car had a torsion bar suspension, front and rear, with a rear self-leveling system. No airbags, just the torsion bars.
Oh, that was it's French.
Nope. Not the CV2, whatever that was. Yeah. That's its own. I mean, American car. Sorry. What American car had front and rear torsion bar suspension with a self-leveling rear suspension? Very ahead of its time. It did not last long. Well, it was an old company, but it unfortunately died off.
Cord?
No, Packard 55 and 56. That was their big thing as they tried to reinvent themselves. Unfortunately, it didn't last because then it went to Studebaker Packard. But my friend had a 55, and although it was never quite finished before he sold it, it was very cool to have this suspension system with ahead of its time rear leveling on it.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's a really.
It also had, if you look on the front seats, there were fans under the front seat, which were a novel idea to have heated front seats, where basically they were fans connected to heating, the heating element, obviously the tubes, whatever, and passages, and you could click the fan on and adjust it to make hot air come up, at least try to heat up through the seat.
You know, that's the whole thing, man. The Packard had such great development. They just didn't have enough money. I mean, they literally just didn't have enough money.
No.
And the thing is,
Just like
Virgil Exner was a designer for Packard first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they had good-looking cars. They just could. What happened is when the horsepower wars started after post-war, they were caught dead. They had nothing developed, and they couldn't develop an engine fast enough.
No, they still had that inline 8, which was solid, flathead inline 8 to 54, huge inline 8. But it's like anything else. By that point, it was like, why would I buy this when I have this new engine over here?
Yeah, because when they were running out, Ford was actually getting rid of the flatheads at that point, and they were coming out with the what's that, with the Y block? I think
the Y block, right?
Yeah, Y block was the first one. I mean, it wasn't a great V8, but it was actually light years ahead of the inlines.
Sure. Oh. Well, they're overhead valve, and actually, what's interesting is Studebaker, of all the makes, in a low price field, I'm talking here, not like Cadillac had overhead valve, but Studebaker came out with their overhead valve V8 in 51, which was ahead of Chevrolet and Ford. And so unfortunately, it just.
Yeah. Well, hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you, but
oh, you're fine.
The 55 Packard is like the Clipper.
Well, you had the Clipper, so that was one of.
There's a 400, the Clipper, and the Caribbean. So they all had that suspension.
He had the four. I think no, the Clipper might not have. The Clipper was the mid-range or the lower priced vehicle. The Packard 400 and Caribbean were top of the line. My friends at least had it. So the 400, and that was one of Packard's problems too, is after the war, during the shortages.
All right.
So what? Yeah. And
that's what everybody, here's a little car porn. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. His 55 was a two-door. Yep, it was a two-door hardtop. And it was basically almost not, it wasn't really triple tone, but it was red with the chrome and then the white in the bottom. And it was not like that, for the record. Okay. But the interior was gorgeous. And the problem was that after the war, Packard said, hey, we can find this whole new market. And unlike what we're trying to talk about with Chrysler right now for the everyman, meaning, cheaper cars, everyone knew Packard was, top of the line. And when they started decreasing, you might see, trying to go a little lower pricing with the Clipper makes to try to get more customers, it actually hurt their reputation. And so even though obviously GM made Cadillac and Chevrolet, the Packard idea in those people's minds was, well, now they're making cheap cars, and less got purchased. And the other, they just didn't have the money to keep developing like the big three. So Studebaker.
Yeah, that was the absolute shame.
Car. Yeah,
it was the absolute shame, because they actually had and the thing is, these cars were very well built. That was the other thing. They actually were very well built cars.
Yes, right.
And that's why we lost. We lost a lot when these companies started just folding. And didn't they end up becoming part of AMC basically?
No, it became what? Okay, so Studebaker. I will not go through the whole Studebaker Packard Studebaker Corporation. But what's interesting is before AMC, there were discussions to combine Nash and Hudson, which is AMC, with Packard and Studebaker to have 4 makes. And I believe it was the CEO of Packard or Nash or whoever, someone died. And it blew everything out. And unfortunately, they said, no, we don't need you. And Packard, Studebaker, and luckily American Motors had the more right ideas. But Packard, Studebaker, if all 4 were to join together with that original AMC idea, it would have at least lasted much longer.
Yeah, actually, I think AMC probably would have become a little bit more of a player, because at least then they would have had a higher quality control, because that was
Sure.
always a problem with the AMCs. They always made a cool car, but the quality control was always, it
Right.
was kind of questionable
And,
at times.
and here's the thing too, is that the hubris was Studebaker and Packard with their ideas thought, well, here's this literally 100-year-old company, a Studebaker, and a 53-year-old company, or whatever Packard was. We have enough history and enough this and that. We don't need this over here. And that was what the new guy, I mean, I'm probably screwing the story up, but someone, like I said, important passed away. And that threw everything into turmoil. And that's when the deal fell apart. But they really should have stuck with that game plan.
George Mason, head of AMC Mason, died.
Yeah, that's who it was. Yep, that's right. Mm-hmm.
So that
And that's when
that
George
that,
Romney,
that screwed the entire deal.
pretty
Wow.
much, from my understanding, right? That and so, and again, I
Wow.
could be off a little bit on my facts, but I know that it was definitely originally, hey, all four of us. And then, if I'm correct, after Mason died, because Mason, I believe, was originally in charge of Nash, and then of course he just migrated to AMC. I could be wrong, either Nash or Hudson as the independent. And don't forget, Nash and Hudson, they had a strong history as well too for many, 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 many years. But then George Romney, I believe, took over of AMC after Mason passed away.
Yeah, he did, and he had a mixed bag of leadership. I mean,
Yes,
a very mixed
but
bag.
he did see. But his attitude was, "Hey, these over here, these companies are making bigger is better. There's a need, like we kind of are talking about tonight. There is a need for some smaller cars, economical, whatever." And
Have a good night.
and
Tax refund hit the bank. Time to reorder parts. Exactly. Holly has
yeah,
their rebate days.
Absolutely. But it's a very interesting story of how AMC got started and didn't quite come together and yada yada yada. And again, like just like any time throughout history, minds meshed and egos flared, and that's part of the story.
20 Cent Motors also saying Studebaker wasn't really kind of upfront about their financial status when Packard bought.
That's true. That's a very good point.
I heard that too.
No, that's actually a great point. Is that when kind of like the whole thing back in the 90s with Mercedes and Chrysler.
Yeah,
that's actually a great point. They BS'd with Packard about how well they were doing and said, "Oh, we don't," and that was another reason for we can just do it on our own. And then they realized
because Studebaker, I remember I read an article. Studebaker made that V8 and they had no money left. They developed that V8 in the late 50s, and then they go, oh, then they go, hey, we're gonna merge, and then all of a sudden Packard went, holy crap! If you have no money, we have no money to upgrade this motor. Like we're so stuck with it.
Right, Packard had no money, they had no money, and it really just that's why the end of the line was called Packard Bakers, which were a disgrace to what Packard used to be.
Yes.
And final Packers are 58. And Studebaker limped around, like I've said, till 60. Like I've seen more 66 Studebakers than I have appliances. Think about that for a second.
Yeah. I remember Studebaker also tried the Avanti.
63. Yep.
Oh, good Lord. What a mistake that car was. That car was expensive to make.
Yeah.
It was an awesome car, but it was the wrong car for them to make.
It again just was not, again, history rhymes, not what was needed. You can't survive on the Avanti.
Yeah. Because if I remember in 63, it was still 63, 64 wasn't a great economy, if I remember correctly. There was maybe a slight.
There's a little bit. Well, that's also what hurt them in 58 because that was a recession and they were already dying off. So the only reason why I think Studebaker lingered as long as it did after Packard disappeared was they had the controlling interest. I could be wrong on that. And they pretty much just take care. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's very weird.
We're seeing that right now with Stellantis and Chrysler. It was almost the same story.
You know what? You're right. I mean, it actually has a very similar vibe to it because
it's withering on the vine.
Yeah, I mean, it isn't that Chrysler came out with a bad car and it bombed and it caused no. They literally just let themselves not make anything, and that's actually very disturbing. And for them to say anything's coming back, it's already too late. You're now you're going to be 4 years without a second vehicle. So you're going to be, I mean, that's a long time. It's a long time to have one car or one
People
thing.
forget.
Yeah.
People forget.
And I mean, it's kind of sad, but even Dodge at this point is at that withering point. Because honestly, if this Charger, and I'll say this is gonna, you can timestamp this if you want. If this Charger doesn't sell 100,000 this year, because I mean honestly, the amount of effort they put into this car, if it doesn't sell 100,000, the leash is real short. You're not the leash is gonna be real short. Because I don't think that it's survive. And the thing is, I think they're going to sell 20,000 of them this year. I don't think they're going to make 30. I can't.
What did we say? What did we say to before the video started? I said, because I watched that review video, and I'm mixed on the. I mean, I have my own opinions on some things, but the bottom line is this: is that what did I say before the video? If let's say they had a starter model, you know me in two doors. Okay, I like the style. I actually think the styling is very good. Actually, I think it's kind of cool. It's a hatchback with extra space. There's a lot of pros I see. Right? If they made a Michael Fluno edition, okay, where I don't need obviously all-wheel drive, give me a 6-cylinder with 250 horses, and maybe it might get 33, 34 miles. But like my 06 Mustang got 33 on the highway with the Cologne V6. Give me a $30-ish thousand good looking two-door with the modern amenities. I don't need every bell and whistle, but that car would absolutely, and make it a 4-door too. That would sell. Yes. I really believe people would say this is actually somewhat practical with the hatch and this and that, and it's got a non-turbocharged engine. Even if it's a little doggy, whatever, it's a great looking car. Put on some basic rims. Don't charge $800 for blue. I'm sorry, that's stupid. And you could have a winner. You could have at least 50,000 plus a year.
LB Bruins is even less optimistic than I am. He says no more than 15. I mean, granted, it isn't starting well, so throwing $5,000 on a hood, and I was talking to Fluno before the show, and I actually, we were texting. I'm like, they are literally doing, German painter level propaganda on this car. I mean, the propaganda, and there are other YouTube channels, guys, out there, and that say they're like independent, and they talk Mopar stuff, and they say they're independent, and I see them getting access. Their opinions are not going to be very, very truthful. No. And anybody that raves over this car is obviously being very, very disingenuous with you. They're gaslighting you. Because a Scat Pack 392 that was $10,000 cheaper, and had all the goodies in it, would kill this thing in a quarter mile. And you're going, and you could also get that in the Charger, was a regular 4-door car. Oh, but then you could also get the Pentastar 6 in it, and you can get 35 miles to the gallon on a highway. Swear to God. On the Pentastar, if you don't drive like an animal on the highway, you are getting in those 30s with that car. You're never going to get in the 30s with this. Not on its best day, and I just think the that the market, and also the insurance, because I still haven't been able to price one of these for me getting insurance. Remember, I'm not that young. I'm a middle-aged man now.
We're past middle age.
I am too middle-aged. I'm a Gen Xer that's middle-aged, and I want to see what my insurance would be with this car with 400 and something horsepower, because I have or 500 or whatever it is, like 500 horsepower. I want to see what it is. I imagine
or something. Yeah,
I imagine that it's gonna be $5-6 grand, and there's the other. There's the other thing. Omni 2+2.
Oh God. Well, this reminds me. The propaganda kind of reminds me of when one of my favorite guys. Actually, I love watching the Haggerty channel with Revelations or Revolutions with Jason. I can't think of his last name, but when he did the Cybertruck video, I thought, did someone stroke him a check? I mean, seriously, it was so slurping, as our friends say, okay, about certain people out there.
Absolutely.
It was like, Jason, you don't rave this much on like the C8. Okay, I mean, seriously, this was so bad. Like, it was so phony. And I'm like, okay, you can think it's cool or funky, whatever nice things to say. But that's how this video I watched that I told you about was, okay. And I like watching this YouTuber. It started out with this, it's not bad at all. Like, I mean, it literally didn't even start with any negativity about nothing. And I'm like, okay. And it said, I found some pros that I liked about it. But again, the over the top, I didn't hear more than 5 complaints. There, my neighbor had that. That's what I was taking to high school in.
Yeah, this is the Omni, the little 2+2 they had.
Yes.
The O24. And actually, this became the Charger. This became the Charger.
God.
And my great aunt had this thing. She had this car. She had one of these Omnis.
A Horizon? Oh.
An Omni.
Those actually weren't bad cars. Those actually were not horrific cars.
No, they weren't. They were they had French engines in them. They still weren't terrible.
No.
Yeah, they weren't terrible, but they're not awesome, but they're better than what they make today.
The interior.
Here it is.
What we got?
This is the Omni Charger. This was the first time they brought the Charger name back in like 6 years.
There's the
Charger. Still less embarrassing than the electric Charger.
That's actually true. Very 80s.
I mean, let's be very honest about that. It's less embarrassing than the electric Charger. And they had Volkswagen engines. I swear they had French engines in them. I don't think they.
No, they were Volkswagen engines.
Oh, that's right. They were Volkswagen. The 1.
It was a combo. It was a
like
combo.
1.8.
Yeah, it was kind of like, in a way, like a Rabbit. Like it was a morph.
Pretty much, yeah. And I mean, this was one thing this was before Iacocca too. They started bringing these in, and so honestly, even as incompetent as they were, they kind of understood what they needed to do. Except they were screwed everything else up so bad that that's why they all had to leave.
And think about it, they sold that from like 77 to 91 without changing it.
Really, they really didn't change it. No, they changed it a little, but not much.
No, right, the rabbit thingy, whatever that is. But the interiors, at least, again, for the time, etc., compared to some other cars, were not horrific for a small little car.
Yeah, wait, I'll pull up the Charger one because that actually is the nicest interior.
Oh, I was talking about the rabbit looking thing, the Horizon.
But even so, I mean, but look at this. Look, as far as an early 80s car, I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is. I mean,
right.
I mean, that's not horrible. I mean, it looks at least comfortable.
So, I remember my neighbor's 024 in that same color, that white and brown. That's what I was taking to school in every day for like a year.
Honestly, I like this dash better than the new one. It actually has normal gauges and a normal steering wheel.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I like a lot of early 80s, that Buck Rogers looking stuff.
Look at this, 85. I mean, it really is pretty much the same car. They just kept making the engines a little better. Nice, big, comfortable seats. But the thing is, the problem was that the Mustang came out with the GT with the Roller 302 in it, and this car didn't look so impressive anymore in 85. No. I mean, that's what killed this car. Yeah, they had the pickup version. Yes, they did.
Yes. Yeah.
What that was for called
1 year. The Plymouth.
Was it a Plymouth?
I think it was a Plymouth. I think it was actually
the
named
Plymouth.
under.
Oh God, what the hell was it? It's like a Horizon.
Yeah, it was. Plymouth truck.
There it is. Oh my God.
Yep.
The Scamp. That's what it was. The Scamp. I haven't seen one in so long. I haven't seen one in so long.
No, God, no. They made it for 2 years, I think, or 1 year.
And the Rampage. The Rampage was the other.
Yeah.
Was the Scamp and the Rampage.
Yes.
Wow. This thing is that's something.
But wouldn't you love to own one today? That'd be
Oh,
kind of fun.
absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. I'd be the only kid on a block with one.
I could use that for
There
a
aren't
lot
many
of
of these
stuff.
left. I know
No.
that. There are not many of these
There,
left.
there weren't many back then.
Wow. So yeah,
But you know
this,
what? It might have sold more than the appliance. We don't.
Oh, I did. No, the appliance is the second worst selling vehicle in the history of Chrysler Corporation. By far, it's not. They sold 7,000 of them. That's not good. Was it Dodge Omni? Was it Dodge Rampage?
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. It's the Rampage. It's the same car. Literally, it's the same car. They just didn't care. I mean, they literally Scamp, and there's the Rampage.
Yeah. Well,
It's like, oh, they both Scamps. No, that says, is that Dodge or Plymouth on the hood? No, I
the
think
one that
that's
has the crosshairs has the Dodge.
the Dodge Rampage. Oh my God. So maybe that's the Plymouth. I had two Plymouths, but they are the same car.
Oh, absolutely. There you go.
Yeah, there's Dodge.
Nice.
Rampage 2.2, and there's the Plymouth.
Uh-huh.
Scamp GT.
Ugh.
Same wheels.
Yeah.
Yep. Cafe rules brought to you by Cafe, which need to go away, but seems like no one has any nuts to be able to get rid of those.
Nope.
It's so bad. Yeah, Volkswagen, Subaru had the Brat, and Volkswagen. What was Volkswagen? Volkswagen's Subaru Brat. The Brats are actually making a comeback. They're becoming very very popular. Yep. I've seen a few of them at cruisins. They had 1,200 pound payload. And hey, that's nothing to laugh at, man. That's actually kind of useful.
I love how they put those seats with seatbelts in the bed, and at that for it classified it as a car, not a truck. Like,
yes,
wow, you could do that back then, right?
Yes, you could. And it all started with this car. It all started with that car. Good Lord. But, I mean, honestly, there was at least some innovation when they were doing these things, which there isn't any now. The more I think about it, it's so much more innovation then.
Yeah, there actually was.
Oh, my God. Here it is. Here's one of the ones with those seats in the back.
They had to do that. They had to do it to make America to be an import and not pay the chicken tax. They made that a car, not a truck now. And I think Brat is actually an acronym for something. I could be wrong, but I think that
it probably is.
But yes, that was the actual. Again, it's kind of like when you change out a stock of certain devices, it magically does not become a certain other device. But that's what happened. They put the chairs in the back with belts, and now it's a car, not a truck. Yep. Because of government verbiage. Yep.
So yeah, Cafe has done more to ruin cars since Trabant. Yeah. The Cafe is probably the most horrible thing ever unleashed onto poorer Americans ever, because it took away their ability to buy cheaper cars. And at that point, if you don't have a lot of money, you just need a set of wheels. You don't give a crap if it gets 12 miles to the gallon or 17 or 70 miles to the gallon, because you want a set of wheels. If you can only afford $5,000, it doesn't matter that car is not as efficient as one that's cost 4 times that you can't afford. And that's literally what it comes down to at this time. And it's actually kind of pathetic that it still exists. It has no place. It has no place at all in the automotive world. People will buy what they want. They will buy what they need. Chrysler sold a hell of a lot more slant sixes than they did Hemis. I mean, it's not even a contest.
Sure.
They sold a lot. They sold more Slant 6s than they did 440s. They sold more Slant 6s than they did all the Rs, Bs, and RBs. I mean,
Right.
it's just literally, it's just like, wow.
That's what I mean. Just like Chevy sold more 210s in 57 than Bel Airs. You just don't hear about them because they're not as fancy at all. But of course,
and that's why I always said, it's a horrible thing, a burden put on poorer people, and it's because it adds to the price of the car and makes the car more expensive. Hence why we have a $60,000 Charger with an interior that looks like it belongs in a $25,000 car.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this is the the VW Caddy. I don't remember seeing one of these. The VW Caddy. You know what? I don't think they could import that into the United States. Was that one of the cars they couldn't import because of the chicken tax?
Which it really only applied to light duty trucks.
Yeah, but, well, that was yeah, because this is why this went away. Yeah, this is one of the vehicles that got killed by that.
Oh, yep. Okay. I thought you said Caddy, like Cadillac. I'm sorry.
No, this one. Yeah, this car, because, and this is why Volkswagen
I remember those.
Hasn't sold any trucks in the United States.
Right.
And it was here, and I forgot what it was called, but Rabbit pickup. I guess they called it a Rabbit pickup here, but they couldn't sell it anymore because they were going to get the tax. It was going to get taxed right out of its price range, and then that was the end of that.
And that's still in effect, by the way. That's still in effect.
Yeah, they were made in America, but because it was a foreign company, and this is how crazy the rules are, they couldn't. And it's still a law about small pickup trucks, not big ones, smaller than Tacomas, this size, like the Maverick.
Well, but the chicken tax is why the big two, whatever, can charge what they want, because we got butthurt and it has to go back to chickens in West Germany and all that. And basically we put a tariff, on these smaller, more efficient, this and that. And instead of us saying, hey, maybe we should make our own that are like this and compete, no, we hurt the other people. And that's why we've been able to ride high with trucks and our pricing and this and that. And that's why other foreign trucks, like even Toyotas, whatever, are still so expensive, because even if they're made here, I believe, is that it falls still under that chicken tax from 1967.
Yeah, another law that's just on the book, and you just don't. It's just, and it's absolutely, it hurts consumers. It literally, it's not free market.
No, it's not. It's anti-competition, and it actually all started with, I believe, the VW bus. That's actually from 60. That's when they first started talking about this. And actually, the whole in a Cliff Note version is, we were selling the West Germans like chickens, like extra cheap in this and this and this, and it was hurting their homegrown, no pun intended, chickens. So they put a tax on us. So we said, oh yeah, well, we're going to put a tax, aka tariff, on your smaller vehicles that were hurting our domestic big three. And again, instead of making our own, that's how this all started, was, and hence the name, to chicken tax. And it is still in effect. Amazing.
Yes. Damn. It's amazing how what happens in the free markets don't do things, how things suck for everybody.
Right. But we sold it under, what do we sell it under? Don't hurt American jobs and pride and our quality. Yep, that's what we sold it. That's what we sold it under. Instead of us just making our own small shit. Pardon me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. America.
60 years later.
60 years later, and it still screws us. Still screws us to this day.
Yeah.
Seriously, it does.
And a certain organization up in the Michigan area that helps make cars was a huge push for this as well.
Yeah.
They have 3 letters. They have 3 letters. You
Yeah,
can
I
guess
know.
it.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
guys that just basically sank the domestic car market with their
Yeah.
25% raises.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to go over well. Oh, it already has. We have $60,000 cars now.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so this is this is awful. I mean, like I said, this is the worst time to be a car guy.
Yeah.
We have all the resources in the world to be able to do things really easy now, but it sucks so bad. It literally sucks so bad. New cars are too expensive, and to get stuff for old cars is too expensive.
Yeah.
I've seen a Corvair truck. I've seen a Corvair truck. What a weird freaking thing it is.
Yeah, it has side ramp. The Corvair 90. That might have been the van. No, the Corvan was the Corvair van. The Corvair 90 was the truck. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And they did that to compete with the Volkswagen that had that truck already. Because I have a friend that has a couple of them, and that's a wild vehicle, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, those pickup trucks. That's why they created it. And the Corvair, that Corvair, honestly, that all it needed was better aerodynamics up front, and it would have been fine. Ralph Nader just went way too far with that, and General Motors really did a terrible job handling it.
You know what, the urban legend might be a conspiracy, but one theory is that the Corvair, which was actually designed and engineered not as like a Falcon fighter, but actually as an import fighter with the air-cooled engine, European looks, etc. One theory we'll say is that it was actually cutting into Volkswagen's market over here, and that the aspiring attorney, let's just say, may have gotten some fees that helped with this.
Yeah, it's some living expenses. Okay.
Yeah. That's just one of the, again, probably not confirmed, but it does kind of make a little sense.
It does, because if you see when the Corvair came out, Volkswagen's market share plummeted. I mean, like a stone. It was bad.
And here's the worst part. Corvair did fix the problem, especially the rear end suspension. That was the main thing.
Yeah.
And they fixed it after 65.
Yeah. The car, all the stuff that was wrong with that car is engineering repair. It's engineering repairable. Yeah. And it was still a really cool car, and
great car, cool car.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, that was General. Actually, it was when General Motors did a decent job of engineering. I mean, not like they did in the 70s or 80s.
No.
Or up until today. But they actually did some creative stuff, and the Corvair was a very creative car. So I got to give them credit for that. I mean, they were really thinking ahead, and actually they were better shaped than Ford in the 60s, because Ford under Iacocca got rid of kept on making their cars bigger. The Falcon got huge in 67, and that was really a dumb idea. He basically gave away the bottom of the market. That's why the Pinto had to come out. And that's why they left the Pinto, even though it was going to blow up, because it was easier to do the lawsuits.
That's right.
Just pay them off than not have that small car that they needed, like for oxygen. I mean, they still sold between 200 and 400,000 of those things. I mean, they sold a lot of those cars.
Yeah.
And I mean, that money, that was life because that was the difference between Ford and Chrysler. Chrysler didn't have that car. Chrysler had nothing of that car. They had the Cricket and the
Colt.
The Colt. And they were actually in separate brochures. They weren't even in the same brochures. They were Mitsubishis. They weren't even a Chrysler product. And that's why Chrysler was just so screwed by 1974, because they had the slant and then they had nothing below it. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah, the Cars That Made, I've seen it. The Cars That Made America is a great series. This is a great series.
Yeah, it was. Yes.
Yeah, I love that, because especially with in the early part of the development, Jesus, it was wow. And then they actually
Hmm.
did do a very good job of the muscle car era, talking about how DeLorean would go out and hang out with the
Yeah,
young,
you're
the
right.
kids
Yes.
and kind of talk to them. And then like he'd bring out prototypes to that GTO, and he let people borrow that car. I mean, he knew what he was doing, and the Chrysler, in the early '60s did the same damn thing. You would not know it by what they were putting on the shape of their cars, because the cars were not geared for young people, but the engines themselves, those engineers, like for the Max Wedges and then even the early Hemis, they were going out in Woodward with those cars. That there is it's a Silver Streak. It's a '67 Coronet. Oh, a Silver Bullet. The Silver Bullet. That is a real. That is a real factory. That is a real Skunk Works race car. They used to go to Woodward and race people with that car, like for
Oh
money.
yeah.
Like for money. They actually were doing it for money. And that car was fast. I thought it was like a 10-second car when 10
Isn't there
seconds
a
was like
famous
psychotic.
in fact, wasn't it a GTO ad that was pulled because they were on Woodward and they intentionally showed the street name, and I guess some higher ups got upset because everyone knew that they raced, but let's keep that hush hush. And the ad got pulled
Yeah.
because it was kind of, dude, we don't talk about that in Fight Club. It doesn't exist.
Well, the thing is, General Motors had a edict, and see, that's why that they had, and DeLorean went around the edict by
Right.
kind of going, "Hey, it's not really the car; it's an option on that car."
It's an
And the
option.
options went around the you had to have for every 100, you had to have 1 horsepower, one cubic inch for every 100 pounds of car. So a 3,500-pound car can only have a 350 in it.
Uh-huh.
And he is like, as a standard engine, but he's like, this is an optional engine.
Right.
And yeah, and then what happened is that they pulled out of racing, which kind of screwed Pontiac, because Pontiac was the race division, and then they pulled out of racing, and so that's when it was like, okay, they had to. That's why they had to figure out the whole street cred thing, and that's how they kept selling cars.
Yeah.
The carbine car was an experiment by Chrysler to try to get fuel economy or something to burn anything, and it failed miserably because it just couldn't make them. They made 50 of them.
Yeah.
Three or four are left, and they got killed on that. They lost a lot of money on that car. Nobody helped them. That was all their money. That was a big boondoggle. Great cars though. Actually, one of the greatest developments ever, and it just didn't work. Henry Ford was a bastard. Oh God, yes. He was absolutely he was a horrible person.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he had such fights with the Dodge brothers. The Dodge brothers stopped selling him engines.
Yeah.
If they had lived, they probably would have built a bigger company that would have crushed Ford. If they had lived through 1918.
I keep thinking, funny he brings up Ford, because I was thinking about the color lineup for the new affordable Charger. And think about it, Dennis. Honestly, you get any color you want for free as long as it's black.
As long as it's black.
Yes, that's the same. But interesting about the turbine cars, that it actually, I forgot if it was GM, I forgot if it was Ford, GM, Chrysler, but I take it back. It was Chrysler Corporation. I think in 52, 53, they actually first started this idea. And of course, it took all these years, but that's millions of dollars thrown into this over a decade.
Yeah, they got hurt financially by that. They had a lot of and plus also the 58s and 59s didn't sell well.
No.
And plus the engines they had then, they just had a mess of engines at that point, because you had the 318 Poly, then you had the HEMI, the small HEMI, it was 392, and they really didn't. They had an old inline six. They really didn't have like any great engineering, engines supplies at that point. And there was that, and also in 58 there was a recession,
Yep.
That hurt the hell out of them.
And the quality control was bad.
Yeah, and the quality control was horrible. I mean, it wasn't bad, it was horrible.
Oh,
They literally had so many problems in the early, and that's why when Townsend came in, he at least the first thing he did was quality control. I mean, it still wasn't great, but it was better than it was. You know, and honestly, the problem with Chrysler though, as it went through, is because all those bad decisions, they didn't have a lot of money.
no.
That's why in a lot of their cars, you know, like their muscle cars, you have to do so much machine work on it to clean up all the mess because they didn't take the extra time to clean up the slag inside the engine. There's slag in the inside intake runners. There's slag in there. There's slag in the heads. I mean, you gain like 20 horsepower just by cleaning it up. You know, it was just kind of, it was just not. That's why they, and plus, in their wiring, they scrimped everywhere, including wiring. Their wiring is atrocious. I mean, it is literally some of the worst wiring you ever deal with. Honest to God, it's bad. And they never upgraded it because the 72 basically had the same type of circuits as the 68. And the development in alternators in that amount of time was tremendous.
Yeah.
And they didn't change anything till 76 with the Volare. That's when they finally changed. They got rid of the way the bulkhead connector was, and they actually still use amp meters up until 1980, 83. I mean, it was a long time they used, early 80s. So yeah, it was pretty rough. So yeah, it's kind of sad. And now we're watching them just die.
You're right. It's almost like this it's rhyming, perpetual rhyming of what's unfortunately been happening.
Good night. Yeah. Yep. So I guess we may have. I think we've covered a lot. We've covered all the stuff I wanted to cover, and we covered even more. I'm very excited about that. So I think it's time to say good night to everybody. We'll be back next week with more exciting news. Maybe something will happen with First Brands. Maybe something will happen at Dodge. You know, I'll drop some more videos because LV Bruin, I can't put that one up, but I agree. So we'll hopefully I'll have something with First Brands. I'm working on a really cool video right now, a nice historical video, because I like doing those. It's gonna be kind of fun, and it'll be kind of interesting because it's dealing with door handles. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but you take this stuff for granted, but it's actually kind of a fascinating, bizarre story. So all right, yeah, Tony, have fun. All right, but yeah, so that, that's what's coming up with me, and I'll be going to a car show, the Mopar show this weekend, and I probably maybe I'll do some stuff from there because there's usually something cool from there, so I'll just do that. And yeah, so anything with you, Fluno?
No, I think that is it on my end here, and thank everybody for joining us. And another lively discussion. I like when we kind of go off the rails a little bit. Somebody brings something up and we start talking about Plymouth trucks, so that's what makes it something unique, and that's what makes this hobby so cool, is just the diversity of everyone's interests and likes and dislikes, and yet in the end no one gets mad at each other. It's just what's great about it, is that, like I said, I think there's some things about the new Charger that kind of impressed me. Not the price, but so good night, everybody. Thanks again. Right. Yeah, that's all it right. Here.
All right, remember now, if you have something cool or something fun, take it out, because you'll make someone's day and it will be your own. And I really do mean that, because I can't tell you how many times I've had my day actually become so much better when I took my car out. I know it's going to happen again this weekend. So, all right, everyone. See you really soon. If you liked what you saw, subscribe. If you didn't, thank you for watching to this point. And as always, if you have a cool car or something fun to drive, take it out. You'll make someone's day, probably your own.